Frequently, people ask me to reveal the blueprint behind my financial success. They want the hidden secret, the clever trick, or the ingenious method that allowed a young newspaper delivery boy from Omaha to rise into one of the wealthiest individuals on earth. And almost without fail, my honest answer leaves them dissatisfied, because there is no hidden formula. There is no exclusive shortcut reserved for the elite. There is no secret passage available only to the lucky few. The raw truth about building wealth is surprisingly simple, yet at the same time extraordinarily difficult, and that contradiction is exactly what most people refuse to confront. Everyone seems eager to sell shortcuts, quick paths to riches. They want you to believe that money is mysterious and complicated, something attainable only by the privileged or the fortunate. But that story is simply untrue. Today, I intend to expose the uncompromising truth about money, a truth many people resist because it strips away their excuses. It forces accountability. It requires doing hard things. Let us begin with the first brutal truth, one that will make many uncomfortable. Quite plainly, your financial struggles are not the result of a rigged system. They are the outcome of your own financial decisions. Before anger rises, hear this fully. Yes, some people face greater obstacles than others. Yes, some are born with advantages. And yes, systemic issues do exist. I do not deny any of that. But regardless of circumstances, every individual still makes choices, and most people repeatedly make poor ones. They choose spending over saving. They choose consumption over investment. They choose instant gratification instead of delayed reward. And those decisions are what keep them poor. I began with no meaningful capital. My family had no wealth, and we lived through the hardships of the Depression. Yet I deliberately chose a different path than those around me. While other children spent their paper route earnings on candy and toys, I saved mine carefully. Instead of buying fleeting pleasures, I bought stocks. Were these choices easy? Absolutely not. Did others think I was strange? Without question. But those same choices, repeated consistently over decades, created enormous wealth. Most people avoid this truth because it suggests that their situation is, at least in part, their own responsibility. It is far easier to blame external forces, to claim the system is broken, or to insist opportunities never appeared. But here is the hard reality. Earning $50,000 a year and spending $50,000 a year is a choice. Financing new cars you cannot afford is a choice. Taking expensive vacations on credit is a choice. Choosing not to invest is also a choice. And every choice has consequences. Poor decisions produce poverty. Good decisions build wealth. It really is that simple. Not easy, but simple. That is brutal truth number one. Take full responsibility for your finances. Stop making excuses. Start making better choices. The second brutal truth about money, one that is often even harder to accept, is that building wealth requires sacrifices most people are unwilling to make. Do you truly understand what sacrifice means? It means living below your means even when you could spend more. It means driving an older, reliable car when a new one is easily within reach. It means staying home while others go out. It means saying no to things you want because your priorities lie elsewhere. Most people refuse to make these sacrifices. They want wealth, but they also want immediate pleasure. They want both, which is impossible when starting from nothing. When I was younger, I lived in a modest apartment. I wore inexpensive clothes. I did not take lavish vacations or eat at fine restaurants. I intentionally gave up short-term comfort and social approval to build capital. Many people thought I was missing out on life. They asked why I would work so hard if I wasn't enjoying the money. But they missed what I understood clearly. I was trading a few years of comfort for decades of freedom. I was exchanging momentary pleasure for lasting security, and that trade was worth it. The truth is unavoidable. To build wealth from the ground up, you must endure years, sometimes decades, of sacrifice. That means staying frugal even as your income grows. It means refusing to match the spending habits of those around you. And this is where most people fail. They earn $40,000 and spend $40,000. They earn $80,000 and spend $80,000. They earn $200,000 and spend $200,000. And they never get ahead. Sacrifice is temporary. Poverty becomes permanent if sacrifice is avoided. Choose comfort now and you choose struggle later. Accept sacrifice now and you unlock freedom later. That is brutal truth number 2. Wealth demands sacrifices most people will not make. The third brutal truth about money is this: wealth is built slowly. That is the only dependable way. Any story promising otherwise depends on extraordinary luck or deception. People hate hearing this. They want fast results. They cling to stories of overnight millionaires, believing there is a hidden shortcut they simply haven't found yet. But here is the reality. Those stories either involve rare luck, misleading marketing, or omitted details like prior wealth or powerful connections. Real wealth grows gradually through decades of saving and investing, powered by compound interest. It is built through patience and discipline, not brilliance or chance. My own investing career spans more than 70 years, and most of my wealth came in the final 30, not because I became smarter, but because compound interest had time to work. This is how it unfolds. The first decade feels slow and unrewarding. The second shows noticeable progress. The third accelerates. By the fourth, wealth becomes substantial. But you must stay the course through all of it. Most people quit after 5 years. They get discouraged. They chase faster paths and end up starting over repeatedly. The truth is simple. If you are unwilling to commit 20, 30, or 40 years to building wealth, you likely will not succeed. That is the math. While a few get lucky, luck cannot be relied upon. Discipline and time can, and that is brutal truth number 3. Slow, steady accumulation is the only reliable path to wealth. Stop chasing shortcuts. The fourth brutal truth cannot be overstated. No one is coming to save you financially. Not the government. Not your employer. Not your family. Your financial future rests entirely with you. Many people believe someone else will take care of them. That Social Security will be enough. That pensions will cover them. That their children will help. This belief is deeply flawed. Social Security may replace only a fraction of your income. Most companies no longer offer pensions. Your children will face their own struggles. No one is coming. You must secure your own future. You must build your own wealth. And you must begin now, because time moves faster than you realize. I never relied on others for financial security. From a young age, I understood it was my responsibility. That belief drove me to save, invest, and plan consistently. The truth is simple. If you do not save for retirement, you will not have one. If you do not invest, wealth will not grow. If you do not manage your finances, no one else will. Stop waiting, take responsibility. That is brutal truth number 4. The fifth brutal truth is that most of what you believe you need is unnecessary. Your needs and wants have become blurred, and that confusion keeps you poor. You think you need a new car. You do not. You need transportation. A well-maintained used car fulfills that need. You think you need a luxury apartment. You do not. You need shelter. Dining out is not a need, food is. Most of your spending goes toward wants disguised as necessities. That is why you cannot save. You are trading long-term security for short-term indulgence. I have lived in the same home since 1958. I needed shelter, not excess. I invested the difference. If you eliminated what you truly do not need, you could save a significant portion of your income. Your problem is not income. It is spending. Nice things should come after wealth, not before it. Build the foundation first. That is brutal truth number 5. The sixth brutal truth is that your friends and family often give terrible financial advice, and following it will keep you poor. Many of the people offering advice are themselves struggling. They mean well, but their guidance reflects their own failures. If you follow their advice, you will repeat their outcomes. People criticized my frugality. They told me to enjoy life. Had I listened, I would be no better off than they are. Wealth requires ignoring bad advice, even from loved ones. Learn from those who have succeeded. That is brutal truth number 6. The seventh brutal truth is that luck matters, but not how people think. Luck alone does not create wealth. Preparation does. I had fortunate circumstances, yes, but many people share them and still fail. When opportunity arrived, I was ready. I had capital. I had knowledge. That was preparation, not luck. Luck presents opportunities. Preparation allows you to act, save, learn, develop skills, be ready. That is the true nature of luck. That is brutal truth number 7. The eighth brutal truth is that the earlier you start, the easier it is. Time is your greatest asset. Delay makes everything harder. Starting at 25 requires far less effort than starting at 45. I began investing at 11. That time made all the difference. If you are older, the truth is painful. You waited too long. But starting now is still better than never starting. Time matters. That is brutal truth number 8. The ninth brutal truth is that investing is simple but not easy. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference. Hold for decades. That is it. The challenge is discipline. People know what to do, they just do not do it. Simplicity does not mean ease. Consistency over decades is hard. That is why few succeed. That is brutal truth number 9. And finally, the 10th brutal truth. Money will not make you happy, but poverty will make you miserable. Wealth removes financial stress, but it does not create meaning. Happiness comes from health, purpose, and relationships, but poverty creates constant anxiety and limitation. Build wealth not to chase happiness, but to avoid misery. That is brutal truth number 10. These truths are harsh because they place responsibility squarely on you. They remove every excuse. You now have a choice. Reject them and remain stuck, or accept them and change your future. Most will choose comfort. A few will choose discipline, and those few will succeed. The choice is yours. What you decide today will determine where you stand decades from now. I have shared the truth. What you do with it is up to you.